Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about dried flowers and how you can use them, which ones you might want to use. And this is just a list mostly of the ones I'm already using for various things and how I'm using them. So it's just an idea to get you started because I had several questions come in, especially on the dehydrated dandelions and what I use them for. So this again is more specific to the dried ones, but there's many uses for fresh flowers as well. So what I'm also going to do is link you back to a video I did last year on why preppers should grow flowers. So we're talking about edible flowers and flowers for their many medicinal uses, and I do break down several of those flowers. Today what I'm doing is I'm talking again about the dried flowers, and I'm breaking it into categories in different areas that you can use them. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is for infusing oils for making skin salves or using in soaps or masks for skincare. So the list is rather long, and again, I'm not going to cover every single one there is out there. I'm just covering what I'm doing right here. So the newest one I learned about today that's really good for skin salves, skincare in general, is the Camellia japonica. I would assume Camellia sinensis flowers would be the same. But any color, it doesn't matter on the Camellia japonica, it doesn't matter what color they are. So the one that's been here at the house since before we moved in over 30 years ago is really putting out some flowers this year, and it finally reminded me I wanted to look up, since I knew you could use the Camellia japonica for tea like you can Camellia sinensis, I figured the flowers probably also had uses, and I was right. So you can cook with them, but mostly I'm going to be dehydrating them to add them to my infused oil that I use for skin cream and salves and so on. So along with some other herbs, and one of those is the dandelion flower. So dandelion's great for that, as is calendula, marshmallow flowers, and leaves. So I'll be mentioning the leaves too if the leaves can coincide with the flowers. Hibiscus, lavender, and leaves, red clover, honeysuckle, pansies and violets and their leaves, yarrow and their leaves, roses, borage, and lilacs. You can add these dried flowers to your homemade soaps. It adds color and texture as well, and then your infused oils, and then also to make a tea out of that you would then make into a mask for your hair or your face or wherever you need it. And I have a video just on making a homemade clay mask, all natural, by making some kind of tea out of various herbs. So now the next infused oil is going to be more for hair care. So whether it be you're using it to help with hair growth, so you're applying it directly to your scalp and massaging it in, and I have a video just on that I'll also link to down below, but also coming up with your own blend for using as a conditioning treatment for your hair. So again, I'm just talking about flowers. There's many herbs that are good for this. So one of my favorites for that would be nasturtiums, which I have right here, turning into vinegar. And also, by the way, any of these are good for making your own homemade vinegar out of, for using as a hair rinse or even to wash your hair with. Very conditioning, very healthy for your hair. Rosemary and their leaves, sage and their leaves. Sage, rosemary, nasturtium, and lavender are all really good for stimulating hair growth. Peppermint is as well, so I went ahead and threw that in there, so the flowers and the leaves. Hibiscus, roses, calendula, and marshmallow flowers and leaves. Okay, so now let's move on to one specific flower that's going to be really good to add to your soaks along with comfrey. So look, you're mostly with the comfrey, you're looking at the leaves, but the flower in particular would be the Arnica flower. Very good for soaking sprains, breaks, in even bruises, or even making a poultice out of. Now, I'm not growing Arnica yet. I have some more starts again this year. Hopefully they'll make it through. But I do use the dehydrated flowers that I can find and purchase online for using for soaks along with my own comfrey. You can use those fresh or dried when it comes to doing it that way. And then there's your various medicinal extracts that can have multi-purpose. So feverfew is one that I use for pain and inflammation. I do mix it with other herbs as well, and I'm going to be coming out with a new pain remedy extract video soon. But feverfew is very powerful and also very bitter. You can use the flowers and the leaves when it comes to that. Valerian is also very good. A lot of people will use the root, but the root is very strong in flavor, scent, that's not really enjoyable and also just very potent. And so some people have a problem with valerian, but if you use the flowers and the leaves to make a tea or an extract out of, it's much more mild in both flavor and potency, but can still be effective at helping you to relax, to help ease pain, and to help relax the muscles if you've got a lot of muscle tension, and to help you sleep as well. And then some other ones would obviously be your chamomile, flowers and leaves. And Camilla is another one that you can extract for various medicinal purposes. And then, of course, let's not forget the elderflower. So a lot of people use elderberries, but like for me, I'll use the elderberries too, but I always end up with far more flowers than I can ever get berries from, because either birds or wind breaks off all my berries, and so I lose those. So if I can harvest a lot of the flowers while they're ton on there, then I can have very similar benefits with the flowers for making, you know, cold and flu remedies and other things. Also really great in teas. Now let's just talk about herbs that are really great for teas in particular, the ones that are going to taste the best. So lilac is very wonderful for teas. I love lilac tea, and I can hardly wait for mine to be ready for that, but I also hope I get a lot this year so I can dehydrate them up for also adding to my infused oil for skincare. Catnip flowers and their leaves, very good for helping with pain and relaxation, just generally calming. I prefer when I'm making a catnip tea to mix it with something such as, my favorite is to mix it with mojito mint. They do blend well. I am always trying, like lemon balm, it's okay with lemon balm, and it's also good for helping you to relax. Red clover and pineapple weed, combining these two together along with some raspberry leaves, are really good for overall reproductive health, and that's for both men and women. Pansies, yarrow flowers and their leaves, rose petals, calendula, borage and their leaves, valerian flowers and leaves, thyme flowers and leaves. So there's just a few ideas, and if you're wanting more information about making vinegar, by the way, I'll link to a couple of videos down below. So again, this one's made with dehydrated nasturtium flowers, though usually I make all my vinegars out of fresh. You can use dehydrated, and so I'll link to a couple of different videos down below, including the this and that, where I was making this particular vinegar out of the dehydrated nasturtium flowers. And I can tell I put a lot in there. I mean, I was thinking half a jar, okay, half a pint jar, but I can tell by the color and how dark it is, I used a lot more than I really needed. I probably could have got away with just a quarter of that jar, pint jar of dehydrated nasturtium flowers. So yeah, the homemade vinegar is super easy to make and has many uses. You can use it for salads and much more. But again, specifically when I'm doing floral vinegars, they're for use on my hair. Now that's just an overview of some uses for your different dried flowers and some different flowers that you can collect and dry, whether you forage them or you're collecting them from their own backyard. And this is just a few. There's many more that you can use. And so what I would like from the rest of you, what are your favorite flowers in particular to harvest, whether it be you're foraging them or growing them in your own garden, that you dehydrate and use for various things, whether it be for tea, salves, vinegars, whatever it is that you're making out of them, or even just cooking with. Now typically if I'm going to cook with a flower, I'm going to pick it fresh and use it right away, such as nasturtium flowers. I use them quite a bit in stir fries. They're great in stir fries, but I'll use calendula and dandelion and various other flowers in my salads and so on. Pansies are another great one to use fresh in salads. But again, this was about dried herbs. So please share this down below, your favorites, how you use them, how they've helped you, and that way other people can get some other great ideas from you as well. Oh, and before I finish, don't forget to check down below in the description box for the links I'll be putting there so you can learn more about flowers and vinegar making and so on. And so right down here below my channel name is the show more in all caps. Click on that if you're on a computer, and if you're on a smart device, typically what you're going to see is a little gray arrow over on this corner, and if you touch that, that'll open that description box so you can find all that information in there. And thanks for watching, take care, and God bless.